Hello everyone, it's your favorite Casanova. Um no, I'm just joking and today I wanted to talk about building self-esteem, especially as a disabled guy. And yeah, I have to be honest, I'm 26 right now and I'm just barely now starting to have some self-esteem and some self-respect about myself. Because I feel like quite a few of disabled people, right? I went through um I don't know if I would call it bullying necessarily, but definitely exclusion. Um I mean, for one thing, that's for sure, and I know of you are gonna um find this controversial, but if you're excluded from things, if you're consistently told, like society tells disabled folks that they can't be attractive, that they um shouldn't feel good about themselves, or they should only feel good about themselves insofar as they inspire others. Um, yeah, I mean, how do you expect us to build a healthy sense of self-esteem? Um, and you could say like, oh, okay, your parents should help you out with that. But the thing is, bro, my parents were Latino immigrants. I was a Latino immigrant, bro. They were working. I was mainly taken care of by my brothers and stuff, and you know, they did what brothers do. Yeah, they bothered me and but they never really reassured me or anything because they had their own stuff going on, right? In fact, a lot of the times, like I said, it was the opposite, and I'm actually grateful for that because they didn't treat me any different than uh a normal sibling. But at the same time, I was never really able to build self-esteem because of that. And I would go to school and I would experience the same thing, the same exclusion. Women don't uh or I guess girls back then didn't really like me all throughout my schooling. They still don't, at least not in a way that acknowledges every part of me as a human being. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Not that it's their job, but I'm just saying, that does have a deep effect on a person. Um, and yeah, I mean, I can't lie to you and say that that lack of self-esteem didn't lead me to self-sabotage. That's probably the biggest thing that it led to. Because you know what? Looking back on things in middle school and elementary school, um there were a few girls that actually did kind of like me, did fancy me quite a bit, but I mean, I just thought to myself back then, excuse me, especially because back then I was fat. I was a fat kid in addition to being disabled and stuff like that. Um, I mean, at least till around the middle of seventh grade, or I'm sorry, the middle of sixth grade into seventh grade. That's when I finally lost weight. And yeah, but in my mind, there were a few things, okay? Number one, I was chasing the prettiest girls in school, um, that obviously didn't want me, or most boys for that matter. Um, but in my defense, they became my helpers for class. They were in a program where they like took my notes and stuff. It wasn't my fault that I got put with some of the prettiest girls in school, but like, especially as a teenager, and I do regret this because, okay, like, and I'll be 100% honest, it's completely my fault because I never cared about the slightly less pretty but just as smart and into the same uh things type of as me girls at all. I never did, and you know, I I'm paying the benefits of it, or I'm sorry, the consequences, the negative consequences of it right now. Um, so there was that, but also another thing is that because I had basically no self-esteem, or the version of self-esteem that I projected was basically a version of myself as a a pretentious know-it-all, which I still struggle with. I've made videos about that. Um, I genuinely didn't think it was possible for a girl to like to for girls to like me at all. Like I just really didn't un um until I lost my innocence when I was 19. I didn't, and I still struggle with it now. I really do. Um, and to be honest, and this is when I first started questioning, um, like aesthetic values and stuff like that in society, because I saw the difference in attention, no matter how small it was, between when I was chubby versus when I got skinny, and then afterwards when I got muscular, because I've been working out, lifting weights and stuff like that since I was 14. Um, and for most people, wouldn't it be like, oh, it gave you confidence and stuff like that, but not me. It just made me feel like, man, people are, girls are, crazy, man. I don't want to live in a world like that. Although, unfortunately and contradictorily, if that's a word, I still did so because hormones, man. I wanted to, just like every other teenager, I wanted to bang. I wanted to bang girls, man. Like, I can't put it any other way. But yeah, like I was saying, it wasn't really until around the time when I was 19 and had my first and so far um only partner, um that I really started to realize like, wow, um I there are girls out there that will wanna, you know, be with me physically even, not just as friends and stuff like that. And like, now the problem is that I wanted to become then like a womanizer or a Casanova, and like, you know, I I took that route, and it turned out that that route resulted in the same sort of thing. And like, in the end, it just made me kind of me feel bad, but I knew also that I was kind of objectifying women, and like, that wasn't right. Um, and you know, after that, and after a lot of reading, that's when I um really started and you know, this isn't a meme. I know it's popular right now to say, oh, me when I drop my feminist literature, I'm 6'5". By the way, I'm not 6'5", man. I'm a cripple with googly eyes and rosacea, and you know, on the shorter side of things. So like, but like, yeah, I started genuinely reading more feminist literature, and there was this one essay by Kierkegaard about Don Giovanni in Either or 2 that really influenced me, um where he was just like, the reason why Don Giovanni is a bad character, bad in the moral sense, not bad in the like artistic sense. Artistically, man, as I'm sure those of you that like classical music will know, Don Giovanni is a great character, but like, it's because like, you know, when he's talking about in my España, Mille Tren, stuff like that, the 1003 in Spain, and the like, however many in Italy, right? Like, it's not about the Shreks, it's just like, at that point, they're just becoming numbers to you. And that's wrong, because like, that's a person, and like, you know, they're more than just their body. Um, and when I read that in the like context of Don Giovanni, because you know, I've loved Don Giovanni ever since the musical part of Don Giovanni, ever since my brother Gonzalo showed it to me when we were kids. But yeah, when I read that, it like made me seriously reflect, and it in addition to all the other reading, and I was like, like, you know, maybe I should have standards. Maybe I shouldn't be like all of the stereotypes, or like my the men in my family. Um and you know, maybe I should have standards. Maybe I shouldn't be a simp. And by simp, I mean just like, you know, chasing after any pussy that will present itself to you without regard to like, you know, whether or not you're compatible or you actually like each other outside of the physical stuff. And yeah, and so very slowly but surely I said, okay, like I know what I want, I know what I deserve, and despite my condition, I do um it is what I want, and I know that mm, deserve it. Of course, not in a 100% type of way, if you know what I mean, because no one is perfect. You're not gonna the 100% compatible partner doesn't exist, but I'm just saying like one where your values are similar and you get along reasonably well enough that she's smart, you know, um you have similar interests and yeah, I just like oh, and another thing, and this one is more recent. I realized that like I had no disabled friends, much less disabled women friends, and that like I had never seriously considered partnering up with another disabled person because I was too busy chasing the approval of the able-bodied. And I've been honest on this channel about how I do feel like that's one of the big things that is preventing large swaths of the disabled community, except for, deaf people in their deaf culture push, which I personally really respect, but it's keeping most of the other disabled people from finding connections that I think they would really like, because I've seen that they only want to go for other able-bodied people, which I don't think is right, and which I that is um kind of was like the last piece for me for my self-esteem and my self-worth. And also realizing that you know I don't have to go along with the aesthetic standards of society. Like, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, after, now I'm in a much more secure um place in terms of the way I feel about myself. And obviously a person never stops growing, but I feel like I have a really good foundation, secure foundation for a relationship now. Now, whether or not that will happen, because I personally have kind of given up, I don't chase anymore. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, it's been a tough road to self-esteem. All right, see you guys. Bye.